Podcast. It's your host, D'Asya, and today I have a very special person on here. She plays basketball at K-State, a Kansas City, Missouri native, correct?
Yes.
From Kansas City, Missouri, did a lot of great things in high school, went to Barstow High School. Is that correct, too?
Yes.
And so she is a very good player, very good guard, high IQ, plays at K-State, and they did some great things this season. They were even ranked the number 2 at some point in time in the season, so they're very impactful over time. So we're going to ask her some questions about who she is as a person and just what K-State is looking forward to next. So you can go ahead, introduce yourself a little bit, and say your name.
Okay, I'm Brylee. I just finished my junior year, so next year will be my senior year. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm majoring in business administration and HR.
Okay. So first, let's start with the schoolness. What do you want to do with your major after college, considering you're going to be a senior next year?
That's a very good question. I'm still not sure whether I want to go into something like coaching or take like a different approach to it. I will probably try to play overseas for at least 1 year just to kind of see how that goes. But in like career wise, I'm not sure. I definitely had a meeting about it today. So it's definitely something that I'm more engaged on thinking about. But I just don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You still got another year. You still got some time.
Yeah, that time flies by though, so I
Yeah.
need to for sure.
So we know you play basketball and stuff, but what are some things that you like to do outside of basketball to kind of calm down or just kind of remove yourself from basketball? It can be a lot. So what are some things that you like to do outside of basketball?
I really don't do much like outside of basketball because it just takes up so much time and school. Like I'm always doing basketball or school.
Mm-hmm.
So my free time, I just like to kind of hang out with friends. I watch a lot of TV. Been watching a lot recently, American Idol, but that's really it.
What's some of your favorite TV shows? You said
Gosh,
American Idol. What else?
I always get clowned for just like the shows that I watch, but I just think they're just so interesting. Like recently, I've been kind of fixated on watching like My 600 Pound Life, My
I
Strange
watched
Addiction,
that too.
like those kinds of shows. I'm into like Criminal Minds, like crime shows, like crime documentaries, murder documentaries, anything like that. But yeah, that's really what I've been on recently.
So TV shows. Okay. Now to kind of bring it back a little bit, how were you introduced to basketball, or what is your first moment that you can remember you picking up a basketball?
I think younger, like obviously like my parents played sports for a little bit. My dad more in college and then overseas. So I think sports was like a big thing for them to get us into. So just as long as I can remember, I've always been doing different kinds of things. I can remember doing soccer, gymnastics. I never really did volleyball though, which was kind of surprising. And just things like that. But I think like playing basketball, like that's just kind of the one thing that stuck. And then I got into it more like competitively, maybe like fourth grade, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So both of us, we're both from Kansas City. So what are some like teams that you play for, or did you have like a rivalry team? I know me growing up in Kansas City, the team I played for, we played the Eclipse a lot, and we played against them. They were kind of like our rivalry team. What were some teams that you played against in the Kansas City?
I remember, I would say maybe Phenom, because we were Phenom, like my organization, like the people I played with, we stuck together from like the moment I started to the moment we all graduated, which is kind
Mm-hmm.
of like kind of crazy. Like no team really does that. And we all stayed under like the same head coach, Rodney Gilliard. But we
Mm-hmm.
played for like different organizations. It was, yeah, I can't remember the first team he played with. But then I remember us going to Phenom, and then after Phenom, we went to Run GMC. But I remember like when we were Run GMC, we would play Phenom. So I would say maybe that was like a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, was it the Eclipse? I think it might have been the Eclipse too. Or maybe like the Iowa Attack, even though it's not really a rivalry. But like, I
Mm-hmm.
remember playing that team. That team really stuck out. They would give us work. But yeah.
So with that, you said you play for Phenom, so you went from Nike and Run GMC. Was that Under Armour?
Yes.
So how was it? Were you guys the first women's Under Armour team in Kansas City, and how was that transition?
I think I can't say for sure if we were the first. I know we were the first like women's team for Run GMC, like that specific organization. Because there's always been men's teams like for Run GMC, and then we moved over there for like a girls kind of side to it. I would say the transition was easy for sure. We didn't lose like any players. Like I said, like my team, my AAU team stuck together for like the entirety of my like AAU career. And so with the same coach also. So it was an easy switch, just changing the uniforms. And it's not like we stuck with Phenom or those other teams like for a long time, so it wasn't anything hard to let go of.
Okay, okay. So for you guys that don't know, she is a twin. You've been playing with your sister for so long. Have you ever had to play a game without your sister, and what was that like?
I'm gonna say no. Me personally, I've never had to play a game without her, but she's had to play like a whole season without me because I tore my ACL my junior year of high school. So obviously
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't able to play that whole year. So she had to go through the whole year without playing with me. But I've never played without her.
Okay. So let's get into that a little bit. How was that process in your injury? Like, how was your mental health, and how was you able to push through to be able to still end up going to a high Division 1 program with your injury during your junior year? And if you guys don't know and you don't play basketball, junior year is a very pivotal point in your career, especially if you want to play at the collegiate level.
Um yeah, it was really like a hard thing to come to terms with because then again like when it happened, I went and saw like some doctors like right after like not in like a professional setting, just had them like take a look at me, and even like the trainer like at the school where it happened was like it doesn't look like anything ACL. I would see some other doctor like that night, just like at his home because it was like a mutual like friendship or whatever. At his home, he told me that it also didn't look like ACL, so I was like, okay, like cool, like just like a knee injury, and then I got an MRI just to be safe because my mom works as an X-ray tech.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that option for me. So I did it just in case. And that's what they told me that like I just completely snapped it and whatever. So it was hard to come to terms with. But at that point, I'm not going to say it was like I was like eased back or like laid back about it because I was already committed to K-State. I think I committed January of my sophomore year of high school. So I was already committed to K-State at that point. But it was disheartening because it kind of like goes through your mind like all these other people like they're gonna be training and I'm not gonna be able to, so like I'm gonna be like so far behind. But I always have had this like extreme work ethic to where I kind of wouldn't allow myself to do that. So when I did get this injury, I kind of took it upon myself to reflect and like use it as a time to where I could work on such weaknesses that I had. Like I could still dribble the ball, work on my ball handling. I might have not been able to get around, but I could still do ball handling. So I did that. I took it as a time because I wouldn't be working out very much like in the recovery process. So I really worked on, eating better, eating the right things, really just trying to get my body right, like before I could start moving again. So I
Mm-hmm.
think all those things kind of helped with the recovery process. Like obviously like it's like an 8-month long process, so it was hard, but I didn't really I'm not gonna say it wasn't like that hard, but like I think the precautions that I did take and like eating better allowed me to recover quicker and allowed for that ease back into the game when I was ready and cleared.
Okay. So that happened in your junior year. You got to play your senior year. Is that correct?
Yes.
How was your last year of high school? And at that point of time, how were you kind of like moving your mindset into, okay, this is my last year of high school. Next year, I'm about to go to college. What are some things you did to prepare yourself for the next level?
That's a tough one. Like it's really hard to prepare for college because you really don't know what to expect. So going into that year, I just wanted to continue to play the game, make the people around me better, become a better leader in like the position that I was in. So that was one thing. And then after my senior year, I also had another surgery, so that kind of also set me back. And then my transition into college was a little bit different because I still like wasn't cleared for contact, so I wasn't doing any of that during
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of summer training. But then I was still like working on like weights and everything like that. So I think that definitely helped prepare me, just getting in the weight room as well, because weights are such a vital part. Like to these basketball workouts, like you're not gonna just play basketball. Like you have to lift weights, you have to know the form and everything like that. So I think that also made it an easier transition into that as well.
Okay. So, boom, we're at freshman year of college. How did you adapt to the class load, workouts, and just basketball in general?
I played basketball like my whole life, so it was nothing like crazy. But I think Barstow, like going to that school that was more centered around education, also helped make it a lot easier for me because in my high school years I did take school more seriously, locked in on all that schoolwork. So I think that did help prepare me for like being able to time manage like basketball and school, traveling, all that. Just going to that school, I think, set me up for success. So it wasn't that bad, like adapting to all that. And also, we're given so many resources with tutors, academic counselors, everything like that. So if we are having a hard time, like we do have things to fall back on that allow us to still be successful. So yeah, I would say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't really that hard to to be able to manage all those things just coming
Mm-hmm.
right from high school.
Okay. So, after that, what was your first game like in your basketball collegiate career? And did you have any nerves? Did you have a welcome to college moment where somebody like hit you with a screen super hard, or it was somebody was you was the person you were guarding was super tough to guard? What was kind of like your experience into actually playing basketball?
Um, that's a good question. Going into the first game, I can't really remember who it was, but I think we played on Halloween. It was like an exhibition game. It might have been maybe Fort Hayes. I can't remember if that was my sophomore year, freshman year. But it always starts with an exhibition game. But I would say, yeah, my nerves were pretty high. Freshman. I wasn't starting at that point, so it wasn't like I had to set the tone for the rest of the game or anything like that. But I would say my nerves were high. I can't remember like a specific like welcome to college moment. It might have been
Mm-hmm.
conference play where I got like my rude awakening. But yeah, a lot of nerves for the first game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So far, after your freshman year, you had that experience. What steps did you take from your freshman year, or what things did you learn from your freshman year that you implemented in your sophomore year to help you be able to elevate?
I think I took more or I became like more engaged on like the defensive side of things. So I kind of adapted like this mindset that you're not going to be you're not going to be able to control everything like on the offensive end, like how well you're shooting. Like you can't really control that. Like if your shot's not on, it's not on. But you can always control the effort and how well that you can play defense, slide your feet, keep your man in front of you. So I kind of took that into my sophomore year, and also just being more aggressive because my sophomore year, Yoki was out and she didn't play that year. So we weren't going to have that big inside, that presence inside. So I knew that I would have to be more aggressive off the dribble. So that's also something that I took to sophomore year.
Okay. So basically, your freshman year, what were you guys' ending record?
In conference play or overall?
Overall.
I think we were tied in conference play, so that's 9-9 my freshman year. I want to say maybe how many games? I want to say maybe like 20-12,
Mm-hmm.
maybe something like that, around that area.
Mm-hmm. So you guys
Yeah.
are pretty decent your freshman year. Your sophomore year, considering you guys didn't have that post presence, did your guys' production as being really good go down?
Yeah, I feel like we started off the year really good. Like we beat Iowa for the first time my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was starting off good, and then I think after that everything kind of went downhill, like with our consistency and everything. So we didn't have the best year like in conference play or anything like that. We did go to the WNIT and made like a little run there, but still came up like short. So yeah, I would say the production did decrease for my freshman year to my sophomore year.
Okay. So your freshman year, did you guys get into the tournament?
Yes.
And then your sophomore year, you guys didn't make it. Was that a motivating factor your sophomore year, you not being able to get to the tournament, to be able to have your junior year, which you guys did a lot of things, became the number 2 ranked at a point in time in the season, upset Iowa, different teams, different things like that?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say not making it and kind of having the year that we did my sophomore year was definitely a motivating factor for my junior year. Like, who doesn't want to make it to the tournament? And it was all just kind of like self reflection. Like, we really worked hard in the off season, put in the work, put in the weights, everything that we needed to do to be able to set ourselves up for success my junior year.
Okay. After your sophomore year, your junior year, what is it like for you guys going into that year? What things do you feel you guys did differently, because you guys had a lot of success this year?
Well, obviously Yoki came back last year, so that was or not last year, my junior year, so this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big obviously factor. And we knew kind of that people's expectations for us were high. So obviously we didn't let them down. And then we got the gap goat, which kind of put like a big emphasis on defense, which is something that I kind of felt that we were maybe lacking in that category. So then we got the gap goat, and that just put like a big emphasis on defense. Like we need to get this number of stops in order to increase our chances or our probability of winning. So I think that helped a lot as like a motivating factor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you guys started to have some success, early in the season, in the middle of the season, even towards the end of the season, you guys are able to upset Iowa. What were some things that you guys talked about as far as how to, what was the game plan for the Iowa game for you guys to be upset, to be able to upset them, because not a lot of teams has been successful at doing that, and you've done it twice. So
I think um just the game like we have solid defenders. Like we have people that are able to, get steals, get their hands on balls, like everything like that, keep their man in front of it. So I think that definitely helps a lot that we just have really solid defenders. I think the game plan was, you got to pick her up at half court or she's going to pull it. So we picked her up, I think, maybe three-quarter court, like a little bit before half court, before she got the ball, maybe even closer than that, to not allow like long outlet passes to get their offense really rolling. and just keep her in front of her. You know, she likes that side step or step back to the left, so be on that hand. And you always just got to keep your hand up at all times. And we also put a big emphasis on help side defense. Like if she was driving, we make sure our defenders get over there to kind of distract her or offset her shot, anything like that. And another thing that was really part of the game plan was transition D, because we know that they love the transition offense and how hard Hannah Stolke runs the ball or runs without the ball whenever they get like maybe like an offensive rebound. So just being able or being in that position to kind of make that pass not available. Like I was one of the people who had to get back. We have like 2 set people for transition defense to kind of stop that. So yeah, that was another thing.
Okay. Well, you've done it twice, and a lot of people ain't beat her twice. So I needed to know what the sauce was. I'm like, okay. So then after that, during the season, when you guys became the number 2 seed, what was the excitement with that? You guys reaching that goal? Was that one of the goals that you guys had planned, or just something that happened that contributed to the hard work you guys were doing?
Yeah, no, it was exciting. It wasn't planned. Like, I don't really think anyone plans for that. Like, you want to think big, but I don't really think anyone thought that big. So I think that was just like a testament to all the hard work that we put in. And yeah, it was exciting, but at the same time, like, one of our sayings is like, don't listen to like the noise, the outside noise. So we didn't want to get like too caught up in the celebrating because we knew that there was still more work to be done.
Okay. Now, enough talk about the team. I want to get into your game. What are some things that you feel you do really well and things that you contribute to your team?
I think I'm a really good communicator, just helping, just helping, like seeing what I see, and I'm able to like communicate that. I'm not like, I don't shy away from the talk on the court. I also think my work ethic, it just goes to impact the team positively. And defense. I feel like my defense really I took my defense to the next level from like my sophomore year to my junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and was just able to really be an impact off that.
Okay. And you shoot the ball at a really high level. What things do you do for people or kids that are out there watching that want to play at a Division 1 level? How many shots do you put up a day, or what things do you do to continue to shoot at such a high level?
Ugh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that I shoot at a high level. Like I go from highs and lows, probably the most out of anyone that I know. But just being able and willing to take the shot, like you can't let misses kind of take away from your confidence, anything like that. And I just continue, after workouts, practices, just continue to come back and put up those shots so I can keep building up my confidence and then seeing those shots go in. I would say like as I got older, I still put up a lot of shots, but maybe not as much. Like I feel like first 2 years maybe it was like 500 or something like every time that I would go in, but now it's maybe more like 350. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's quality over quantity. So yeah, I just really work on just getting those good reps in, and yeah, I feel like that's what's helped me the most.
What are some things you want to add to your game for your senior year so you guys are able to get to the tournament and pass the rounds and get to like Elite Eight and Final Four and that type of stuff? What are things that you feel like you need to do specifically to be able to help your team?
I think just shooting more consistently going into this next year. I'm working just right now, just putting up lots of good reps of shots, but just being able to shoot the three more consistently. Like if I get that skip pass, I'm gonna knock it down. I think adding a little bit of a mid range into my game, just one stop, like shot fake, one stop pull up. Being more efficient of that, and also rebounding. Like I said, one of my roles is transition D. So as soon as that shot goes up, I get back on defense. I talk, I point, help people figure out their positions, but maybe kind of just taking a step back from that and being able to get on the offensive boards to kind of help me improve that area as well.
And you guys, is all your team coming back next year?
For the most part, we've had 2 transfers, and then we had 2 seniors, like obviously Gabby and Beck, and they're not coming back next year. But for the majority of it, it is pretty much the same team, minus 1 starter.
Oh, okay. So with that, I know you have your point guard. I forgot her name, but she's has really good high IQ. How is it like playing with her? And did you play with her before college?
Yes. Yeah, Serena. So me, Serena, and my twin, we played on the same AAU team for a number of years. Like she wasn't there at first when we started with the organization, but maybe like a couple years later, she came,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we played together ever since. And then going into college, we still play together, which is kind of crazy.
So with that, I can kind of see the chemistry of when you are getting to the spots. I've watched you guys play a couple of games. She kind of knows where you're at. How is it playing with a point guard that has such a high IQ, and how is that for you?
It's a lot of things. She does a lot of good things just to make the game easier for everyone. Has the ability to bring the ball up and really just works to create her own shot, but also create shots for others, which is a really nice thing because sometimes you don't see that all the time. And obviously, like we just mentioned, that I have played with her for so long, so we're kind of able to play off each other at just like another level. And like I know her strengths and weaknesses, she knows mine, so we're just able to put each other in positions that allow us for it to be successful.
Okay. And my next question is: so the Big 12 is growing. Y'all getting 3 new teams in the Big 12 next year. From the Pac-12 is Utah. Dang, who's the other school? I think it's Utah, Oregon. No, Utah, Arizona, something else. I don't know.
Every
But
day.
yeah, um, what do you feel like the Big 12 is gonna be next year? I feel like people have gained more respect for the Big 12. Honestly, it was kind of a little bit down for a couple of years, but now it's more teams like the Texas, you guys, and KU even did some damage and beat some teams that were ranked. So, what do you feel like the Big 12 is going to be like next
The Big 12 has always been an exciting conference, like in my opinion, just from my first year coming here, it's always been a hard conference. Like I've always known it to be a hard conference. So with the addition of these 3 teams, it's exciting just being able to play different competition that we wouldn't normally in like a regular season. But yeah, like it's exciting. It's exciting and it's exciting.
year? Okay, so my next question is dang, I forgot it. Shoot. What has been your favorite part of playing at K State? As not as far as basketball, but just in general, going to K State. What are some of your favorite parts of your university?
I would just say just like the people, like the environment. The environment is just so supportive of its sports. It doesn't matter if it's men's or women's. And as we saw this year, like we got so much support from our students and everybody else, season ticket holders, and they made that extra effort to come out to the game. We had great crowds, so it's just a fun environment to play in. So the people would just definitely be my favorite part.
What do you feel about the growth of women's basketball with people finally giving women's basketball more recognition? We've seen sold out stadiums, sold out crowds, people paying thousands of dollars for tickets. What's your take on the growth of the game?
I just think it's so exciting just to see women's sports get the recognition that it deserves. And just from my perspective, like coming into from my freshman year to now my junior year, I was able to see that growth. Like, when we hosted March Madness and played in March Madness, we played in front of sold out crowds. Like, that was just something I never thought like I was gonna be able to do. Maybe when I was younger. So now just looking at it, like, it is crazy, remarkable, and I'm just happy that we got here to this point.
So over that 2 years, we've also had NIL deals. How do you feel about NIL deals, and how has it helped you?
I think NIL they're just such a great thing. Like, you get those extra opportunities to better help yourself set up for the future. So I think it's a great thing. I've definitely used it to my benefit in order to help me post graduation life. So yeah, and I don't know. It's just exciting that we're able to get these opportunities now and really just kind of use that to our advantage.
Okay. Okay. So the last game of the season that you guys played in the first and the second round, correct?
Yes,
So you guys, dang, I forgot. Who did you guys beat first?
Portland.
Portland. How was that game? And being that this was your second time playing in the tournament, how was that experience different than your first time?
That game was super fun. It was just fun to play in front of all those people. And, it's always kind of, I don't want to use the word fun again, but I'm going to use the word fun. It was just fun kind of getting out of conference play because sometimes conference play can just feel like so repetitive. So it was nice to finally like play someone different and like, someone different from a different conference. And it was just like a fun game. Like, the energy was high the whole time. Great defense. People made big plays. So yeah, that was a fun game for sure. And I feel like my experience from like my freshman year to my junior year was obviously like a lot different. Like, my junior year we got to host. So we played March Madness in Manhattan, Kansas, and we were able to bring March Madness to Manhattan, Kansas. And it's probably been a while since like the last time any team has been able to do that. So that was really exciting. And then we got the love and support. We played in front of a sold out crowd the second round. So yeah, like my freshman year, we didn't get to do that. We played at NC State first. Oh, we played at NC State. So it was just like a different experience because obviously they had all their fans. We had, minimal because we were not playing at home. So yeah, playing in March Madness my junior year was just so remarkable. It's something that I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
Okay. And then after you guys played Colorado, you guys ended up losing. But can you tell us a little bit of insight of what that conversation was like after a loss, and what are you guys' goals for next season as far as to be even more successful to get past the first and the second round and further rounds?
The conversation was really basically just what everyone was thinking. It was disappointing that we did lose that game. But at the end of the day, like, we just didn't play to the best of our ability. We didn't guard to the best of our ability. So that was just a result of it. Like, we came up short when we shouldn't have. So it was a disappointing ending to the season because obviously we really wanted to go far and make a long run in the tournament, and just for it to end like that was really upsetting. But it just adds more fuel to the fire. Like, Yoki's coming back, and there's just more work to be done this year and next year. Looking at Elite Eight, Final Four, anything like that. So yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely. So I want to ask, Garden Jalen, is she how fast she looks on TV? Because she looks like she'd be moving. Like,
Yeah, she's pretty fast. She's just real athletic for no reason, and so I just don't really have that. I didn't get a lot of the genes, and that's okay. But yeah, she's pretty fast.
Okay, okay. What is your final message to people that you want them to know about you, or people you want to know, little girls that look up to you, that watch you on TV, that want to play like you? What's your message to them about what to do to be able to get to where you are?
I would just say that no dream is too big. Like, if you have the work ethic and the drive to do it, you can accomplish anything that you want to. Just keep putting in the work, and no matter how hard it gets, it's all worth it in the end.
Okay. Well, this is the end of the podcast. I appreciate you so much for coming on here to talk to me. Got to
Thanks
do
for
another one after you get to the Final Four and the championship. because y'all for sure got your whole team coming back. And I was rooting for y'all to beat Colorado, but y'all still got your whole group back. So next year, y'all for sure got it. So when y'all
Yeah.
see them in the Final Four, refer back to this podcast, okay? Okay. But yeah, everybody that's watching, thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and continue to support to watch my video. Sorry, but I'm gonna put the link to her Instagram and stuff like that, and be on the watch and look out for K-State basketball, women's basketball next year. Peace.
Bye.